Alright, it looks like we are live. So I guess I just count down Morpha real quick. So the run starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. And good luck to Morpha. I will commentate his run since he can't right now, unfortunately. But yeah, welcome everyone. This is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 for the PC, and it's the 8th Harry Potter game for the PC from the main series and the last one. And we are playing or Morpha's playing and running the New Game Plus category because this game does have a New Game Plus mode that has like some major differences. So we should clarify that first. The first thing you could already see kinda because he skipped the cutscene. That's not possible in any percent. We have to watch all the cutscenes there, but in New Game Plus we can skip them, and that saves about like 30 minutes over the whole run. The second small thing he's also doing right now, running against the door, is also not possible in any percent, because you can't sprint until a certain point in the game. Nobody really knows why, but Harry apparently has to learn that in any percent. And in New Game Plus, he's just able to. We also have all the spells, which is the third big difference from any percent to New Game Plus. So we don't just have Stupefy, which is probably the weakest spell. We have all 6 of the spells, and you will see him use probably only Impedimenta on this level because it's just OP, as you can see in a few seconds after the small cutscene ends. Because you can highlight like every enemy you want and then just release the spell and they get basically insta-killed. And that's a spell you would normally get relatively late in the game because it's like super strong. But yeah, the first level of the game, I don't know, like most people are probably familiar with the Harry Potter story and probably have seen the movie as well. And this game is super similar to the movie. So as you can see, the characters look like Harry Potter, Hermione, and Ron from the movie. So like Danny Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint. And we basically do the same stuff like in the movie, but obviously a bit more dragged out and in form of a game. So right now, Harry is breaking into Gringotts to steal the Horcrux. And it's basically meant as a tutorial level in any percent. So you learn how to like sprint, how to take cover, how to kill enemies or stun them rather. Also worth noticing for sure is that taking cover is at the exact same button as sprinting. So what happens, even if you know the game, even if you're good, what sometimes happens is that you just want to sprint somewhere and you take cover all of a sudden because it's just the same button. I don't know who designed that, but you can change it. It's great fun. Also, we have to wait a bunch in this first level because it's, as I said, it's meant as a tutorial, so it's kind of an auto-scroller. We have to wait for Hermione to open the door, run a bit, kill a few people, and then wait for Hermione again. For some reason she was better at Alohomora in like her first year. She kinda forgot a lot about the spell in this game. Here we're supposed to use Protego. That's where we would learn that spell, which is basically a shield spell that protects you from all incoming fire. Morpha will probably use it over the course of the run, but like not here, because you can just go here without getting killed. But the game doesn't think you can, so you're supposed to use Protego to get past the first Death Eater. But he's already done with Impedimenta. Yeah, there it is. That's Protego. And as you can see, it's just an invisible shield. So a lot of people refer to this game kinda as Call of Potter, Magical Warfare, because it is like a little bit different than what the rest of the series did. Because as you can see, it is a third-person shooter, and yeah, most other games of the series are platformers or adventure games. So they took a different path with that one. You will also notice how he like pre-aims. Yeah, we see it very well here. Because the spawns of the enemies are not randomized, they always spawn at the exact same spot they spawned in before. So if you know the patterns and if you know where they spawn, you can pre-aim them very well. And that was really smooth.
That was brilliant, mate.
See that probably even better, like in this section, after we clear out the first Death Eater spawn. They all spawn in that small chamber or whatever it is, so it's pretty easy to spawn camp in this game. And once again, he has to wait for Hermione and Ron. It's kind of random how fast Hermione and Ron are. Like sometimes they help you and shoot the Death Eaters, sometimes they just run. And yeah, that is kind of the random part, especially in this level. Sometimes Hermione is just somewhere else and it takes her forever to reach the door. But yeah, now you see again, he knows where the Death Eaters will spawn in. So there's the pre-aim, the Confringo spell, and that basically deals with them. To go over all the spells, you probably see most of them during this run. We have like Stupefy, which is basically like a normal pistol. And then he has like Confringo, which is basically like a rocket launcher and stuff like that. So most spells kind of resemble weapons you would have in, for example, Call of Duty. In this part, thankfully, we don't have to kill the guards, because there's like no door at the end. We get a little bit of damage here. You can see him using Protego after getting into the gray. And getting into the gray obviously means he's like close to dying. But if you use Protego, you kind of get out of the death anime, or like of the gray area faster. And here Harry forgets to sprint. Nobody knows why. Just can't anymore. He's stunned by the dragon, apparently. The whole dragon fight is also cycle based. He goes around like spitting fire. As you can see, he moves his head. And for the longest time we thought we couldn't skip like the next cycle after the small cutscene that's coming up now. So for the longest time we waited for him to turn his head all the way and then come back, and then we sprinted. But Morpha recently found that you can make it by just sprinting and covering really quick. So you kinda skip one dragon fire cycle. Yeah, that's the first level done. As you see, we can skip the cutscenes. As I said before, only the cinematics though, not like whatever we're seeing right now. So Hogsmeade is the next level, which is usually like one of the harder levels of the game. It's the same here. He knows where the Death Eaters will spawn in, so he can spawn camp them and spawn trap them. But it's kind of hard to get the whole cycle down and to get all of them reasonably fast and efficient. So there's a level where you can mess up big time if you forget one Death Eater spawn something. Or if you just can't kill one in time and another one runs all over the place. But that was really solid, once again. In any percent, that's where we would learn the second spell. He already equipped it. It's Expelliarmus. For some reason, Expelliarmus never really does what it's supposed to. Because in the books, it's supposed to like disarm your opponent. In the games, it does everything from game to game different, but not disarming your opponent. And in this game, it just breaks Protego. So that's kind of the second level. That's a lot of waiting for Hermione, clearing Death Eaters and waiting for So yeah, those levels have like a somewhat slow pace, but we get more exciting levels later on when it comes to the whole Battle of Hogwarts. Right now, story-wise, Harry's just trying to sneak back into the castle. He's not really good at sneaking. He was basically discovered after like a minute of running.
And it must be horrible with Snape as headmaster.
Look, over there. Just before we got halfway down the street, mate.
Harry, can you clear the way?
And like Petrificus Totalis is basically what a sniper would do in other shooter games. We don't have that spell in any percent at that point, so it's way more stressful to kill the 2 Death Eaters he just killed. And that's another spawn camp, just aiming up the torch and making it explode. Because for some reason in the wizarding world, torches explode if you shoot them. And that should be the last one. Oh no, it's not. Oh, it is, good. Yeah, good thing he knows the cycles, because I don't, apparently. But yeah, all of them, as I said, don't spawn random. But it's still easy to forget about some of them. And nice ragdoll. In those sections, you just have to kill them. There's like no way, we know at least, to get out of bounds in this game yet. We tried a bit. We can get out of bounds in most Harry Potter games in the PCB. Not in this one though, so when it comes to killing enemies, we just have to do it. There's like not really a way around it. Thankfully we have like really powerful spells in New Game Plus, so it goes a lot quicker. In any percent it would only be Stupefy at that point. And I think that's the first apparition we've seen. I'm not sure, maybe I missed it. That's also something that's different from any percent to New Game Plus, because Harry learns apparition in like, I think a lot later in the game in any percent, but we can do it in New Game Plus already. It's kind of a good move to evade enemy fire. We use it a lot if we're like almost dead, to just teleport away. And also obviously sometimes for some movement optimization and some shortcuts, because you can apparate through solid walls sometimes. We will see a few kind of impressive apparitions later on, especially in like the Battle of Hogwarts. There are a lot of possibilities for that. Also, this part is kind of interesting because it looks like the same. Hermione opens the door, we kill Death Eaters. But after Morpha's done with killing all of those, it will take Hermione forever to open the door. Because when they programmed the game, they just didn't think anyone could beat them as fast as we do, I guess. That's at least my theory. Because otherwise it wouldn't make sense that Hermione needs so much longer.
Well done, Hermione. Let's see what's through here.
Not too much longer!
And that's where we usually joke that Hermione doesn't know Alohomora anymore, because she just needs forever, as I said. And there's like no reason for it.
I think we're almost there.
Harry, they knew we'd come here.
But yeah, that was overall a pretty solid Hogsmeade. This is the last room, or last area of Hogsmeade. And you're supposed, what the game tells you is that you're supposed to like stay in the building he's in right now to defend the market from the attacking Death Eaters. But since we can run out of the market and it's easier to defeat them if you're close up, we obviously run out. So you don't really have to defend the market, you just have to kill them. And if you killed enough, then the Dementors will spawn in and they end the level. If you're familiar with the movie, that's basically when Aberforth Dumbledore saves Harry and Ron and Hermione by summoning his Patronus. In this game we can't really cast Expecto Patronum because reasons. We don't really fight the mentors. They kinda exist in the game, but they don't do anything, and we don't fight them. Since we skipped a few cutscenes, we're already at the fight against Snape and the Carrows. The basic strat for the Carrows is to kill them like both at the same time. It's kinda tricky to do because, as you can see, they're like all over the place and behind each other and stuff. But if you kill them at the exact same time, which was kinda not possible because they were standing in really bad spots, then you don't get one cutscene that will happen later. Yeah, it's that one actually. So there are 3 cutscenes in the fight. 2 will always happen. That just happen when the 2 characters are low life, and 1 happens if you kill one half of the twins. Are they twins? I don't know. Of the brother and sister. But if you kill them both at the same time, you skip that one cutscene. Another cutscene skip in this fight. You will see him going back, like backwards, all the way to the back after he started the fight. Because there is a quick time event in this fight, or there's supposed to be a quick time event in that fight. As you can see, that's as far back as you can go. And in that quick time event, Snape just teleports behind you and he throws, I think, a table at you. But that's like a really slow cutscene and the quick time event and everything. And by going back as far as we can, he just doesn't do it. He doesn't teleport behind you. And the rest of the fight is just Expulso and Stupefy, since they are like, they deal the most damage against single targets, kinda. That was a pretty good fight. That's how you defeat the Headmaster. Next level is the diadem of, or destroying the diadem. No, it's not the diadem. Destroying the Huff Cup in the Chamber of Secrets. So we want the Basilisk Fang. And for some reason, after the Basilisk left, the chamber is full of spiders. So if you don't like big spiders, yeah, there we have them already. Then this level or this game is probably nothing for you. Nobody knows why, but apparently they live in the chamber now. And this is also like kind of an auto-scroller. We have to wait for Ron because he has to open the doors in that level. But the strat for this level is to run ahead as far as possible. Because Ron has 2 animations. He either walks really slowly or he runs, and he starts his running animation if Hermione is out of reach. So we just go as far away as possible, so Ron walks faster. We have to make sure though to kill all the spiders in the way. Because if we just run ahead and don't care about the spiders, they will kill Ron. He can take like 5 hits or something. He's dead really fast. And he will always stop here for some reason, and we have to kill 2 spiders. So if you know what to do in this level, you can rush through here pretty well. See, that's his sprinting animation basically. That only happens if you're far away. And now he does his walking animation. So if you would stay close to him, he would always walk in that pace, and that's really annoying. So we run ahead. I guess he just panics because he doesn't like spiders, and that's why he sprints or something.
Just keep casting.
But yeah, I absolutely hated that level as a child, and I still kinda do. I don't like big spiders. And you can see again, he knows where the spiders are spawning.
That's it.
That's next level spawn camping.
Well done.
Thought it would never open.
It's also like kind of a maze down here. Not really. Like usually if you go the wrong way, there's a dead end.
Spiders.
As a speedrun of that game, we obviously know which way to take, but you can get kinda lost down there. Next room of spiders. There's no door at the end that Ron has to open, but if we would not kill the spiders here, they would kill Ron, as I said. There's also like a possible soft lock later on that hopefully doesn't happen. Morpha has a strat to prevent it though. It's kinda like a bit slower than just running, but there's basically a door later on where Ron is just sometimes saying, no, I don't want to go further anymore, and he just stops, and he stays there, and there's no way to make him move again, and that's a soft lock, and you basically have to restart your run. But I think what Morpha does there is just staying close to Ron, and then he continues moving. I think that's like the only soft lock we know in this game so far. I think. Can't think of anything else.
Feel free to start casting anytime you like, Hermione.
There's Ron again.
That would be good.
He needs some time to open the door.
Trickier than the last one.
Just do your best.
We know how this goes. This level is kind of like a little bit uncreative, to be quite honest.
But it's got to open soon.
I don't know. It's not really my favorite level. And it's not even hard. Like it's hard to lose time here actually,
I'm doing my best.
if you don't go the wrong way or run soft.
We're almost there.
So that should be it in terms of spiders, right? Maybe not.
Expulsor.
It's hard to tell. Sometimes some more spawn and sometimes, yeah, there they are. It's also kind of nice that we have Confringo, which is the rocket launcher spell basically. We wouldn't have that one in any percent, but it gets rid of a lot of spiders in a one shot. So it's not as annoying to aim at them.
Let's get this over.
So that's the spot where Ron can softlock if you go too far ahead. So that's why Morpha waited a bit and looked at Ron, and yeah, Ron didn't softlock. He passed the door. We're good.
Confringo.
This one seems tough. Same plan?
Okay, just don't take too long.
Nice Confringo snipes.
You
That's the
horrible
spawn
thing.
point of the spiders, as you can tell. So if you just keep on spamming Confringo in that direction, you're basically good for now. It's not like, if you don't do it, it's not a disaster. They just come running up to you and you kill them close up, but it's like the easiest way to get rid of them without much trouble.
There we go.
Thanks, Ron.
Also, Confringo has a pretty awesome sound design, so it's always good to fire it. We have like some kind of a different situation here, because for some reason the door doesn't close now, and spiders come in. So you just have to keep the spiders out. Our strat for that is just casting Protego, as you can see, because they just try to jump in and basically evaporate on the Protego shield. If a few come through, you just have to turn around and kill them before they kill Ron. It looks like he has a lot of health, but he really can take a lot of hits. So you have to be careful. And there we see it in the background. One big spooder, but thankfully the door closes before the big spider arrives. And we can just walk off. Even though I would say a boss fight against the big spider would have been fun.
I've never got this far before.
This is where Harry's.
And we're back in the Chamber of Secrets, which kind of looks... It looks pretty awesome in this game, not gonna lie. Like, graphic-wise, I think this game is pretty solid. It came out like, I think 8 years ago. Considering that, it looks pretty good in my opinion. But yeah, we just run here. And if you would not skip the cutscene, then like they would destroy the Horcrux and the water is chasing them. Ron is just like, yeah, I'm out of there. He just sprints away. Doesn't care about Hermione anymore. He's a good boyfriend. And yeah, we just have to dodge the falling debris. It's also the same pattern every time, so Morpha knows where to go to not get hit. But yeah, it's a pretty cool scene for the game, in my opinion.
I'll cover you from the bridge, Seamus.
Good luck.
So that's that done. Now we're Seamus.
I'll do my
I
best.
probably not that well known from like non-Harry Potter fans, but that's also like a thing they do in this game. They give you a lot of different characters, I guess, for fan service. There's another interesting skip. I hope he gets it. Oof, rip. Happens. It's a pretty hard one. It's precise timing. So basically, you have to wait until level everything is bad. We found out, or better, Morpha found out that you can run through the fire if you do it well, if you time it well. That's a long loading screen.
Thank goodness, you made
But
it.
there we are back. Let's see if he tries it again. Looks like it.
Well done, mate.
One down. A few more to go.
My stream just went black. Give me a second to recover. But he got it. I can see it on the main stream. There we go. My picture is back. So we're supposed to wait until Neville says this line, and by just running with the right timing, we save like 15 seconds or something, maybe more even. It's pretty good time to save. Also, Seamus's mission, story-wise, is to blow up the wooden bridge. He does the same in the movie as well. And for some reason in the game, he has a lot of Death Eaters to fight. But thankfully, they don't really do much. And Neville helps us a bit. You could just see his Confringo spell landing. He's somewhere up on the bridge, trying to help. Ooh, that's weird. I'm not entirely sure why those two Death Eaters spawned. They usually don't. Like sometimes, yeah, and they don't usually run up to you from that side as well. Sometimes you're surprised with a game. Sometimes weird stuff happens, and now he has to fight some more Death Eaters than he wants to, but it should be fine. Because you can't plant the charges until you defeated all of them.
Blimey, I didn't think I was going to get to plant this one.
There we go.
Still, it's a good start.
I'll hold off as many as I can, Seamus. If you need to cast at them, use Confringo.
Okay.
Be careful. With the shield down,
For this next part, they're like, I guess, snipers on the other side of the bridge,
lay down there, Seamus.
and we just have to get rid of them. He also did a small skip here by timing it right, so he killed all of the snipers and got it done before the other people spawned in. So he could plant the charges a lot earlier than you're supposed to. That's also a small but handy skip. Usually there would be like a second wave of people on the other side that you would have to kill. But if you time it right and nobody is near you, then you can plant early. That's actually not too easy, by the way, so that's pretty well done.
Now that the barrier's broken,
Nope, still one left.
worse.
You can kind of tell when you're done. Oh nice, we get the cinematic.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Beautiful camera work. You can kind of tell if you're done because the game tells you to press a certain button, which is R for him apparently, and it zooms you into what you're supposed to see. In that case, it was the bridge blowing up and the stones blowing up. So if that happens, you know you've defeated all of the Death Eaters. Another section where impedimenta is pretty neat to have. A lot of enemies in the distance. You can just aim at them and the spell does the rest. Sometimes they use Protego, and if they use Protego they block the spell, but it's like not all Death Eaters can cast Protego for some reason. We're almost done with the Seamus part. I mean, not
Yeah,
almost.
I'm
It's
fine,
like 2
Neville.
more
It's gone a
charges.
bit quiet, hasn't it?
They're up to something.
There we are. We're getting there.
Yeah, mate. Good job. Keep it up.
All right then.
They're behind you.
It's 6 charges in total, and is it? Yeah, it is 6.
Confringo.
So you have to go all the way around the bridge, basically. And afterwards, Seamus obviously has to get. we switch to another character to help him get back. But yeah, you will see later. This is probably the longest mission in the entire game. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Because it consists of two phases, basically, going the one way as Seamus
Blimey!
and doing all the charges. That's another one of the... I don't know what you are supposed to see there, but the game told us to press R, and Morpha pressed R, and we saw the bridge, I guess.
Look out, Seamus! They're attacking from the higher ground!
So that's the last one, just a few more Death Eaters. Spawn camp them, of course, since we know where they spawn. And there we go.
All
Should
done,
be the
Neville.
last charge.
Good job, Seamus! I knew you could do it!
That was a pretty
That was
solid
fine.
Seamus
No
part.
problem.
You better run back!
And yeah, as I said, he has to get back now, so
my
we
way.
go over Neville. And this part is probably the one where you can save or lose most time throughout the run. I mean, if you don't die. If you die, you lose a lot of time. But the Neville sniping, as we call it, like you need some practice for that. You need to know exactly which spell to choose for which situation. And since you're kind of far away, it's really annoying to hit them sometimes. And you can only cycle through the spells by pressing the buttons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you can't use mouse wheel or anything. So you need kind of fast fingers to switch between them. And the auto aim is like you have some kind of auto aim. So if you press right click with a sniper, you aim at the body kind of. Otherwise it would be really hard to hit people. But if they are running, you have like a problem because you just can't hit them like that. He aimed exactly at the Death Eater, but he couldn't hit them. And for that situation we usually use Impedimenta, as you can see there, because that spell is kinda like following your opponent after you marked him once. And it never misses. It's like the most OP spell. Every spell has like a cooldown, in case you haven't that yet. Stupefy and Expose will just get like more inaccurate over the time you're firing them, but for most spells you see the circle that has to charge again. That's why we have to switch which spell we use for which situation to avoid cooldowns. Because every spell has its own cooldown. And there we see Impedimenta again. I have no clue why those two just standing there, but okay. Sometimes they do that. It is a pretty solid game when it comes to how broken it is. In most parts it works how it's supposed to work, except like there are a few minor things we found to skip cutscenes or whatever. But most parts work as they're supposed to. So glitches are kinda rare. As I said before, only one known soft lock. So the game runs pretty solid. And it's not known to crash either. Some other games of the Harry Potter have that they tend to crash, like not a lot, but from time to time. So we can't really say anything bad about the game in that regard. He's just finishing up a few more Death Eaters. There's like one more big wave after that, and then we blow up the bridge. Also what he's doing is, if he casts Impedimenta and he sees some casting Protego, then he just casts Expelliarmus to there it didn't work because it was on cooldown.
On my way.
But if they cast Protego, you basically can't hit them. Except if you cast XP Armors because it breaks the shield.
We're so close. We're on top again.
Don't worry, Sailor. I'll get her.
Another nice use of Impedimenta. And you see one of them survived because he had Protego up. There's sometimes nothing you can do about it. Sometimes you just don't see it, so you can't XP Armors. But yeah, that's a reason we would not have unlocked Impedimenta in any percent yet, because it is a pretty strong spell, especially for those kind of situations. So we would usually have to deal with them without Impedimenta.
Thanks, Neville.
Come
That
on,
should be
stop
it,
the
yeah.
little beggars.
We helped Seamus. He's back home safely, hopefully. But Neville is sadly still on the bridge, which is kind of problematic for him. But thankfully he can take a ton of shots, and Death Eaters can't. So, wow, what was that auto aim? That was weird. So we have a slight advantage. Yeah, we'll just snipe them away before they can even enter the bridge. You will notice that he doesn't use Impedimenta here, or not that much, not at all, I guess. Because if you do that, sometimes it just doesn't work because it hits the wall or something, or the ceiling. So the one situation where you don't want to use that spell is basically this bridge.
Why hasn't the bridge blown up?
Neville.
Expulso.
So the bridge doesn't blow up, and Neville did it in the cutscene that we skipped. He did it by hand, making the last charge explode, and that's why we have to run away now. In bridge. And I don't know why the guy's running behind us. There's not really a point to fire at him. It's basically just an auto-scroller. I mean, there's a point to fire at him to keep him away. If he catches up to you, you lose. But it's hard to die in this section.
Get off the bridge!
And Neville's epic jump, and he did it. The bridge is no more.
It is my duty to protect the school, and I will do so.
And that's where we would usually unlock Impedimenta to fight the giants. It's the same in the book and the movie. We don't really understand the giants yet, because as you see, he hits them and they just don't take damage sometimes. Like, it is really weird. Now he did take damage, but now he didn't from that Confringo. So we just think it kind of depends. Like, there's kind of a cooldown between him getting damaged, where you can't really do anything. It's kind of weird. We have to yet figure out how the giants really work. But you basically just want to do damage and not die from the Death Eaters in front of you. That seems like a pretty fast giant though. His life bar seems to be a 0, but he won't die until he reaches the first two like stone guardians, and then he does that animation and we can kill him. So if you kill him too fast and he didn't reach your first like defense line, then he will walk a bit further. Just because he needs to fight with the stone guardians to get into that animation. And McGonagall is pretty badass in that scene. I don't know if you remember the movie. That was also pretty awesome when she invocated the statues.
I will do my duty to the school.
Also, that giant just throws rocks for no reason. I don't even know where he gets them from, but every time that happens, you just Protego and nothing, like it doesn't hurt you. Even though it clearly hits, but you don't get damaged. There's also a way to destroy the boulder or the rock in the giant's hand. if you time it right and you confringo while he has the boulder in his hand, it gets destroyed and you don't have to protego. But it doesn't really matter if you do it or not. So now he reaches the statues. He will get into the animation soon, or not. There he is. Or not. There he is. And then we can kill him. That's what I meant when I said giants are kinda weird sometimes. Just a few more people spawning on the bridge, so McGonagall has something to do. It's obviously not hard to take care of them with Impedimenta. And now we have the one of the two quick time events we actually do. It's actually not even an easy quick time event. You have to spam 5 reasonably hard here. It's always the same buttons though. It's a pretty easy quick time event to remember. It's 252. But spamming 5 like hard enough maybe requires some practice. When I did my first runs of this, I failed that a few times. But hey, we defended Hogwarts, and now Harry's on the hunt. Ex-Horcrux. And he met Draco Malfoy and Crabbe and Goyle in the Room of Requirements. And the fights against them are kinda easy. You just do a lot of damage and they just run off. Because they get scared, I guess. And it can be kinda confusing. Do a casual playthrough or your first run. Because the Room of Requirements is kind of a maze. You have to know your way around. You have to know where to go. And now they built something, cover or something, and it's pretty easy to destroy it. Just have to make sure you don't die, but that shouldn't happen. Oh, he protegoed. That's actually rare. Kinda annoying. And if they take cover and you can't hit them, that's even worse. Because you need to do damage to progress, obviously.
Okay, I'll move it.
Yes, and Goyle seems pretty dangerous.
I also have no idea which spell Hermione cast there. It seems pretty powerful. Just destroying the whole, whatever that is, wall of rubbish. That was kinda close actually. He was in the grey. But if you die here, it's not even that bad, because most save points are before the next fight. But you shouldn't die here.
Okay.
And he always walks in the right position to trigger that cutscene, obviously. Hermione doesn't do it on her own, but you have to stand in like the exact, or not the exact same, right position. It's not super precise. And that's the final fight against Malfoy and Crabbe, and it's not Crabbe and Goyle actually. That was my mistake earlier, because they changed Crabbe to Zabini in this game and in the movie. I think the reason behind that is actually because the actor got into some trouble, like legal trouble, and that's why they changed him. That was unfortunate. What we try to do there is to cast Impedimenta and highlight all 3 of them, and that immediately ends the fight because they get enough damage to run off. But the Impedimenta didn't like highlight anything, so it just didn't work. It's not too bad though. After that he just had to do the fight manually.
Okay, stand back.
And we've seen some auto-scrollers before. The next auto-scroller is coming up now, probably the best one. It looks super epic in my opinion. After we fire a few shots at the Horcrux, obviously. But yeah, There we go. We just try to get out of the room of requirements. That is burning. Because I think it's either Goyle or Zabini that casted a spell. And now everything is burning. You just have to make sure to aim at all the chairs. And the epic slow motion, you just can't avoid it. It's just for epicness. It's not much to this part. You just run and hit everything that's falling down. But it looks pretty good. You also can change your spell, even though Impedimenta is probably the best spell for that anyways, but even if you wanted to, you can change it. Oh, I think he missed the chair there, but it didn't matter. You can get hit by the stuff that's falling down, and that is painful, and it can kill you, and if you die on the auto, you feel stupid, and your run died. Okay, up to, or into the probably hardest level in the whole run. This is considered the biggest choke point, just because you don't really fight at all in the beginning of this. You just run, because it's faster than fighting. But you have to run past a lot of Death Eaters. And Apparition is our best friend here. Let's see if he dies or not. Like this beginning is the big choke point. This apparition is pretty cool. We just teleport through the wall. He didn't quite get it as good as he could have, but good enough. Making sure to kill the snipers, because they do damage. Nice, we got that one. Oof. He got it though. I hope. Oh, that's unfortunate. The save point is literally like a few meters in front of him. So that was really unfortunate, and now he has to spin back here. So the save point is like where the door is, basically. It looked so good, but yeah, that's what can happen during this level. If you get hit stunned once and everyone is shooting at you, you kind of have a bad time. Yeah, playing it safe, killing all of the guys there. Ugh, awkward apparitions into cover. That can happen as well sometimes. Not much you can do about it. And there's the save point. He died like a little bit before. And now we have to wait for Hermione. Don't know where she is. I don't see her. But she's supposed to be oh, there she is. And that's also kind of RNG. She's just somewhere, and then she starts sprinting towards you. You can. We had that one in a round. If you die at the exact same time, you hit the checkpoint. That's the best that can happen, because if you respawn, Hermione is already there, and you don't have to wait for her. But it's just inconsistent, and you can't really time it. So it's just luck that you die at the same time you reach the save point.
It's tricky, but I think it's starting to work.
Oh, that's a nice config. I didn't know that's possible, to kill both of them with one. You may wonder why he aims at right now. And that's one. A little ambush, and yeah.
That's it.
We know the ambush is coming, so it's not too hard to prevent. And that's the next part that's kind of stressful. Nice apparition. Let's hope he doesn't die here. You don't have to fight all of those enemies. They will disappear once you leave the room, or once you get a little bit into the next room. But you have to fight everyone in this room to progress. Thankfully the ones in the room before just despawn after you're too far away. But that room is also kind of stressful. You have like snipers on the roof and people everywhere basically. So it doesn't matter if you run to the door now or late. You just have to kill everyone anyways. And have to wait for Hermione and Ron. And I think Hermione is like really far back. Sometimes she trolls you on that level, like big time. I don't know why Ron is so slow, but hey, it fits his character, I guess. We just have to defend her a bit more. I mean, we are used to that, right? That's basically what we do the most part of the game. Or at least the beginning. He's trying to protect Hermione a bit, standing right in front of her, protegoing, so she doesn't get hit while opening the door.
Impedimenta!
And that should be the last wave. Nice snipe. Flawless quickscope skills, and the door should open soon.
That's it. Let's go.
Thanks, Hermione. I don't know what we'd do without you.
There we go.
Death Eaters will be using these stairs to get into the castle.
So we'll have to.
Oh, he tried to skip a cutscene there, I think. Which doesn't work on that one. That happens to me all the time. Because you can only skip cinematics and not those camera zooms. And sometimes you forget what comes when. So, yeah, that's one of the levels where it's so annoying that sprint and taking covers the same button, as you can see. Because as a speedrunner, you obviously try to cut corners as much as you can for optimized movement. But if you do that in this game, it is really annoying because Harry just takes cover like an idiot sometimes. Like here again. Oof. Gray again. Oh, and that's unfortunate as well. You can apparate like between staircases, you can apparate down, but sometimes he will just fly up again. And you hate to see that in a run. There we go, that's what he wanted to do. And as you see, he just takes cover everywhere, because whoever invented sprinting and taking cover at the same button is just an idiot. Sorry. And no way to change it.
Yeah, despite all the Death Eaters.
But hey, he made it. Didn't die, so that's the important part. And the main mission in this part is to get to Voldemort, who's apparently in the boathouse. That's where we try to get out of Hogwarts and down. But there is Fenrir Greyback, who is a werewolf in the Harry Potter story. And we try to kill him. It's the second boss fight, basically. And he takes a while to kill. What Morpha already did was casting Confringo at him while he has his shield up. Because for some reason against Greyback, Confringo works as a shield breaker. It doesn't work as a shield breaker for the entire game, but against Greyback it does for some reason. So if you cast Confringo at him while he shields, he just falls down and you can get some damage in. He will occasionally heal, because you're not supposed to kill him that fast. So even if his health bar is at 0 at some point, he will full heal again. Yeah, as you see, he just healed himself. Because the game developers didn't think you could do that much damage. Pretty solid fight so far. You have to kinda make sure to not die, because every time you trigger scene, and those just get triggered while he loses health. Every time you do that, more Death Eaters spawn in, and it can sometimes get kinda overwhelming. See, his health bar is at 0, but he's not dead. Because he needs that cutscene to happen. And now he's dead. There we go. That was a pretty good Greyback fight. And now we see probably the most satisfying apparition
hope Hermione's okay.
after this small cutscene.
We'll get
We're almost at the boat's house where Voldemort is located. We just have to get down, and yeah. We skip so much with that one, like so much running. And it just looks great. And we can do it all the way down here. Just cutting corners with the apparition. It's not super hard to learn even. Just have to point in the right direction and apparate. You can sometimes just land into a cover, which is annoying again, but it should be fine most of the time. Alright, burning Hogwarts. Feels bad, man.
It's over. There's only one thing left to do.
I want to go home.
The last level where you can just randomly die while running past enemies. Later on it's pretty much only boss fights, but now it's the last time we have to run past enemies. So the last big choke moment. Possible at least. You don't want to get stuck onto... Oh, that's a lot of damage. You don't want to get stuck somewhere or you die. Ah, he didn't die. Nice. It was pretty close, but nice. Made it.
He's walking to his end.
And from now on, they kinda understand. Harry just wants to Voldemort, who's now located in... And they just don't attack him anymore. From now on, it's just running. Nothing can happen. We kinda used to, like, think about apparating all the way, but because we thought it might be faster, but it's not. Sprinting is just the fastest way to travel. Because apparition has, like, a cutscene and a cooldown and stuff. Or not a cutscene, an animation and a cooldown. And into the part that's supposed to be like really atmospheric. We have like Harry getting reunited with his parents and Sirius and Lupin. And the whole setting looks pretty awesome. Like it's well done graphically. We can't sprint, we can't use spells or anything. It's basically an interactive cutscene. But just wait until we arrive at Lupin and Sirius just to see their animations. I mean, that ghost flying animation is not well done from Lily Potter. But Lupin and Sirius are just next level. But yeah, that's just walking. Listening to the deep dialogues, I guess.
Dying.
It's just like falling asleep.
Can anyone else see you?
No. We're part of you now.
As you are part of us.
There's so much I want to say.
And sometimes James Potter can kinda block you.
I'm sorry.
I think that just happened a
I
bit.
didn't want any of you to
He has a
die.
really weird pathing. But yeah, there's Lupin. He's just turning around, not caring at all, and making weird hand movements.
Someday you will understand.
But
So yeah, all the budget was spent, I guess. They couldn't make decent ghost flying animations.
Remember them as they were.
Same for for
I will
Sirius.
try to.
Don't mourn them.
Their memories remain.
I will never forget you.
We know.
You're nearly there, son.
We are so proud of you.
And now the dialogue just stops, and they're just floating. Because reasons.
You'll stay with me?
Until the end.
Stay close to me.
So the next cutscene would be Harry dying, because Voldemort kills him in the movie. And we'll skip that cutscene, so we kinda jump to the part where he gets resurrected, I guess. And now we have the first boss fight, or the first Voldemort fight at least. And this is actually the harder part of the fight. We fight Voldemort again later, this part. And this fight is actually harder than the last fight, in my opinion. It's kind of the same as we always do. We just do as much damage. There's not much to this fight. Sometimes Voldemort can get into like a weird rage mode or something where he just teleports around all the time and you can't really get damage in, and that's really annoying, but most of the time it looks like that. He just apparates. Oh, maybe there we have it. Yep, there we have it. He's just apparating away all the time. And there's not much you can do. Morpha still managed to sneak some damage in. Pretty well done. And he can't really kill you as well. He just doesn't do much damage. Considered he's supposed to be the most powerful with... He's pretty terrible at fighting in this game. Or Harry is just good at tanking death curses, I guess. Maybe that's also the case. And there we have it. The first Voldemort fight is done.
The great Harry Potter running like a child.
And we have to run away from the Dark Lord, which is the next auto-scroller. That's actually not super easy. Because of this exact part. Yep, he did it. You have to kind of cast at the ceiling, otherwise he catches up really fast and he might get you. But if you just keep on destroying everything in Hogwarts, you just get slowed down. That's the basic idea here. You just aim at everything that's blinking.
We can play this game.
But it's actually not super easy. Like, I've seen people playing this game the first or second time and they died here. Because you have to like find a good balance between shooting stuff and giving your spell time to recover and being precise again.
But not in the way you want.
But yeah, pretty cool scene as well.
You won't win.
And now we are Ron Weasley, finally, the first time in this game, and for some reason he can't apparate, which is annoying. At least he can sprint. I didn't touch on that earlier actually, but some characters can sprint, like Hermione in the Chamber. She didn't sprint a single time because she's just not able to in this game, and someone else, I mean McGonagall obviously, because she's old I guess, but yeah, Ron can sprint at least. And that's kind of the only difference between characters. They all have the same spells, at least in New Game Plus. Yeah, the accidental cover takings, really annoying, but it's hard to avoid them sometimes.
Look at the fire up. There are so many of them. Harry needs our help.
And we're at the last long fighting scene. Not my daughter is what the chapter is called. In the movie, one of the best scenes when Mrs. Weasley kills Bellatrix. Spoiler alert, sorry. But I guess most people know the story. One of the most rewarding scenes for fans, I guess. And most speedrunners hate this part. It's just a really, really long tower defense part, kinda. You just have to kill all of them. They try to get into Hogwarts or something, and it takes forever. We will be here for a while. It's just the big finale before the big finale. And yeah, we're Ginny, in case you haven't noticed, also for the first time. They kind of managed to make you play like as the character that makes sense, because they kind of do the same stuff they did in the movie, except maybe the Ginny quest. But yeah, for example, Seamus. As Seamus, you blow up the bridge. As Hermione, you get the basilisk fang. It all makes sense in a way. But I guess this mission only exists so people can play as Ginny. It's not really in the movies or the books. But yeah, enjoy the fight in the destroyed courtyard.
Fighting! We have to win!
That was the first wave out of 3, I think, right? Should be.
Impedimenta!
What you can also see is that he uses Confringo whenever, because it's obviously, as I said before, like a rocket launcher. And if you're hiding behind cover, that's the perfect tool. He also goes back now a bit because the fight is like not close to an end, but coming to an end. And the trigger for the final cutscene is somewhere where he's standing right now. Somewhere around there. So after he's done killing all of the Death Eaters, that should trigger the final cutscene earlier, because he's standing inside the trigger. Ginny is tanking a lot of Confringos right now. But thankfully they don't really do much in this game. Like they don't even do much damage. Like the dangerous spells are the quick fire spells, like Expulso. They can kill you, but Confringo usually doesn't.
They're breaking through our defenses!
Nice. That was the next wave done. So the last one is incoming now.
Impedimenta!
And after that we have like a whole bunch of boss fights left, which are the best part of the run. And probably the best cutscene in the entire game. Or in the entire Harry Potter series for PC. But you will see that in a bit. First of all, we have to finish up this part. And once again, Impedimenta, really helpful. Every spell has its use, kinda. You see he alternates between the spells. Just depends on what's happening on the battlefield right now. And it takes a while to practice that perfectly. That you know which spell to use in which situation, and also that you can select it, right? Because as I said, selecting the spells is kinda annoying, since you have to press the exact button. And you like can't mouse wheel or something. And that should be it. Oh no, there's one more. That should be it, yeah. They just spawn in, but they will disappear really soon. I don't know why they spawn in. Oh no. Oh no, that's the last wave, never mind. That happens after.
I think that's the last of them.
There we go. Now they disappeared.
I don't believe it! We've done it! That was
And
brilliant!
as you see, the trigger is exactly where he's standing. And
done,
if you wouldn't stand here at this, Ginny would lose the ability to sprint. So if you would be somewhere else on the battlefield, it would take you a while to get to that trigger. So that's why he positioned himself there before. Alright. Now it's time for Mrs. Weasley against Bellatrix. And Bellatrix is just like super over the top in this game. All her cutscenes, I don't know, are super weird, and all her movements. Like most characters look pretty well compared to the movies and behave like they behave in the movies, but Bellatrix is just like on the next level. But yeah, basically the same strat. a lot of stupefy, a lot of exposo. She doesn't really like cast Protego or anything. She will, however, start a quick time event. We will see that at some point, and there's like no way we know to it. We tried the same as we did for Snape, which is just going back until the end of the hall, but she just doesn't care. She will teleport behind you anyways, so no way to skip this small quick time event. I mean, it's epic, right? So why would we skip it?
Regrets the day you escaped from Azkaban.
And that should be it, I think. Her health bar looks pretty empty. And she goes to the right end of the hall. She has to be there for her death animation to work. You cannot kill her in a different place. She always has to be there. And that's Bellatrix done. So we're just having the final battle left. It's only Harry or Voldemort. And it is kinda as epic as in the movie. You fight him in the same area at least. And when I said before the first fight was harder, you see why. Like, he gets so much damage at this point. And he doesn't like apparate around like a maniac anymore. So you can actually hit him without problems.
See where your fear has brought you. Expulsor.
It has like 4 waves. 2 are down already. And you just have to do damage. And if you've done enough damage, the next wave triggers. Or the next cutscene. Like now. And that should be the last part of the battle. He will transform himself into smoke anytime soon. He should have done that already. His health bar is pretty empty. I don't know. Oh, there we go. And if that happens, you just run close to him, and that triggers the next cutscene and progresses the fight. And I guess you remember how it was in the movie. And yeah, this is the final stand down. And time is coming up like in a bit. I can call time once it's about time. But you just have to keep the big white ball pointed at Voldemort's head. It's not hard at all, and that's what I meant when I said the first fight is harder. Because this one is just not hard mechanically. Just have to point at his head and everything works out. And that should be time. Probably a bit delayed because I have some delay. Yeah. There we go. That's a pretty good time. That's a really good time actually. 1:13. What's it? Give me a second to check on stream. 1:13:11. That's pretty good. That is, like, considering the world record is like 3 minutes faster, that's really good for a marathon run. And he died a bit. So now we can enjoy the final cutscene, since we're a bit ahead of schedule, and the estimate is 120, or was 120, I think.
From then on, the wand answered to
So yeah, enjoy the final cutscene.
until I disarmed Draco.
But that means...
It answers to me.
What do you reckon we should do with it? But
that's not even the most epic part, I guess. I mean, that's pretty much like it is in the movie. But for all the people that played most or all of the
Come on, Albus.
Harry Potter games. Oh yeah, we have
James
the
is
prologue
already
left.
on
Sorry.
board.
Gonna shut up.
Lily, I told you. No one gets to go to Hogwarts until they are of age.
You'll be on that train with Rose soon as well, Hugo.
Don't wish their lives away already, Ron.
Hopefully their time at Hogwarts will be less eventful than ours.
Yeah, that's old Harry and his family. Spoilers again, if you haven't read the books. But yeah, the best part is this movie or cutscene. If you played all the Harry Potter games, then you will like this, because it's basically all the games in a row. Just so you know what you played over the years. And there we are. That's most games for most consoles in a nutshell. I guess that's just EA's way to say thanks for playing our games. So yeah, I guess we're at the end of HP 7 Part 2. Yeah, so many memories, I know, right? So many great games. But yeah, thanks for having us on the marathon. It was great fun. Thanks for watching, and I guess we're out for now, right? And enjoy the rest of the marathon. We have a pretty awesome schedule coming up.
Alright, well thank you very much Morpha, and also Nixo for the awesome commentary. Great run. We definitely appreciate the Harry Potter run, that was fantastic. Alright, so another scheduling change. It will not be Slime Rancher 80% right now, because I will be actually taking the role of runner, and we'll be doing some Kirby's Dream Land, so that's how these things go with these marathons. If we have to fill gaps, we will definitely fill the gaps. But we'll be back in just a few moments. I did want to go ahead and mention a few things. We do actually have an awesome t-shirt. We do have a merch store now. So I wanted to go ahead and show that on stream, if you all would give me just a few moments to look at that. It is very awesome. And also this will lead into our next incentive as well, for our next run. Well, future runs, I will say. So give me just a second here. Gotta pull this off of Twitter. Again, doing the editing on the fly here, so don't mind me. Alright, so this is Air Angel. She is actually going to be running Overcome in a few moments. And she is showing off our awesome Distant Star Cares t-shirt. So we do actually have a store on Spreadshirt. And we have 3 types of shirts there now. We have a men's shirt, we have a women's shirt, and we also have... I guess we would call it like a unisex shirt. It's like a sure fit. Not exactly sure what the difference is, but we put it there anyways. But we will have more merch as well, like mugs and things like that. So if there's anything you all would want in the merch store, definitely join our Discord and let us know, and we'll definitely put that on there for you. I will go ahead and post the Twitter page that we have this on, because actually between yesterday and on the 6th, so until Monday, there's actually free shipping if you use a special code, which is Mayflowers19. So I'm going to go ahead and post the Twitter page there, so you actually can go on to our merch store and purchase an awesome t-shirt, and that will definitely help out the marathon with our future events, which we'll have 2 of them in August and November. Going to be going to our first gaming convention, which will be fantastic. We'll be doing another one-day marathon from there. And then also we'll be doing an in-person marathon at Open World Gaming in Greenville, South Carolina, which is one of our sponsors, who's been helping us with some tech behind the scenes and things like that. But that is available for you all. Again, thank you very much for all your support. Everything as far as like follows and bits, everything, all of it goes to a great cause. Alright, so give us just a few moments. We'll set up with Kirby's Dream Land and enjoy the rest of the marathon. Oh, and just one final little note here. We do have a bid war coming up for Slime Rancher. It's going to be the save icon, so if you all have a preference in what your the save icon will be, please get in your donation for that. The donation will end as soon as that run is on the marathon stream, so you have about 25-30-ish minutes. Alright, so we'll be right back in a few moments. Stand by.